T.I. explaining himself. They only responding because, hit dogs holler. Now, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. T.I., T.I.'s son, they supposed to think that that's beauty, but I think deep down inside, T.I., he know what it is.
Would you want for your son to say something?
I can't honestly say I would want my son, especially your age.
Can't
I know
older.
he's
older.
our son, but ain't he older?
Yeah, older.
He's 20 or 21 or something.
Yeah.
I would just want to handle it myself. I wouldn't want my kids or my family to.
But people that love you, you can't tell them.
A rumor started circulating online that 50 Cent might be producing a documentary about one of hip-hop's most controversial and unresolved stories. The allegations surrounding T.I. and Tamika Tiny Harris. That rumor alone was enough to explode the internet. Because this isn't just gossip between two rap figures. The accusations at the center of this story have been circulating since 2021, have involved attorneys sending letters to federal prosecutors, and have never been fully settled in any courtroom. When you add 50 Cent, a man with a proven track record of turning controversy into mass attention, to a story that already carries that much weight, people stop scrolling and start paying attention. Here's everything you need to understand about this situation, why it never fully went away, and what a documentary could actually change. The allegations first surfaced publicly around 2021, when several women began sharing accounts online about encounters they said took place between the mid-2000s and late 2010s. According to reports at the time, attorneys representing some of these individuals said that more than 20 people had reached out with similar stories. The accounts described situations where women said they met the couple at clubs, parties, or industry events. Some alleged they were brought into private settings where things became uncomfortable after drinks were involved. Several described feeling disoriented later that night in ways they believed were caused by substances. A few accounts involved events that allegedly happened across different states, meaning multiple jurisdictions could potentially be involved if formal investigations moved forward. Attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn stepped forward publicly, saying he had been contacted by multiple women with troubling accounts. He sent letters to law enforcement agencies in Georgia and California, as well as federal offices, requesting that authorities open formal investigations. He stated that some of the individuals were prepared to speak directly with investigators if official inquiries began. But the situation immediately ran into a significant legal obstacle. Many of the alleged incidents were described as having happened years, sometimes more than a decade, earlier. In several cases, the statutes of limitations for certain charges had already expired. Even if investigators found the claims credible, the law in some jurisdictions might prevent prosecutors from moving forward. Blackburn acknowledged this complication, but argued that the seriousness of the accusations justified a deeper review regardless. The accounts included a former military service member, a dancer, a studio intern, and several people who said they encountered the couple during nightlife events. Some described interactions that left a lasting emotional impact. They said they had never fully addressed publicly until 2021. T.I. and Tiny rejected every allegation immediately and forcefully. Through their legal representatives, they stated that all encounters with other adults throughout their lives were completely consensual. Their attorneys described the accusations as baseless and exaggerated, arguing that the situation resembled a coordinated effort to damage their reputation rather than a legitimate criminal complaint. They pointed out that the couple lived a very public lifestyle within the entertainment industry, attending parties, hosting events, and socializing across the music and nightlife world, and that interactions in those environments were voluntary. Their team also raised the same point that complicated the legal side. The alleged events happened years ago, making investigations difficult because memories fade, physical evidence no longer exists, and witnesses are harder to locate. From their perspective, that gap in time combined with the absence of any criminal convictions supported the argument that the accusations did not reflect what actually occurred. The defense was consistent and detailed, but it didn't make the allegations disappear, and it didn't fully satisfy the people who felt the story deserved a deeper examination. That's where things stood for years, a serious public debate with accusations on one side, firm denials on the other, and no legal resolution in either direction. Then 50 Cent went quiet. For anyone who follows him closely, that silence was noticeable. He had already been publicly sparring with T.I. over the Verzuz situation and had been trading jabs online when suddenly, nothing. No memes, no Instagram captions, no comments. Just an unusual stillness from someone who rarely stays quiet when there's drama in the air. Then the documentary rumor surfaced. According to speculation spreading across social media, 50 Cent was reportedly exploring a project that would revisit the controversy surrounding T.I. and Tiny in documentary format. No official confirmation came from his team, but the idea alone, 50 Cent, a documentary, and this specific story was enough to restart a conversation that had been fading from mainstream attention. The reason the rumor landed so hard isn't just about 50 Cent's personality. It's about what documentaries actually do to stories like this. A social media post or a news headline gives someone a few seconds of information. A documentary gives someone an hour or more of context. Timelines, interviews, personal accounts delivered in someone's own voice, step by step. When a person walks through their experience on camera, describing where they were, who they met, and what they say happened, the emotional weight lands differently than reading a paragraph. That's not speculation. It's a pattern that has played out repeatedly across documentary projects focused on the entertainment industry over the past decade. That's exactly why supporters of the idea argue it could matter. They believe that if multiple individuals shared their full accounts in that format, it could give the allegations a level of attention and detail that short online posts never provided. In their view, the story was never fully examined. It surfaced, generated headlines, and then faded without any meaningful resolution. A documentary, they argue, could force a more honest public reckoning. Critics of the idea see it differently. Many people in T.I.'s corner point out that the couple has denied everything repeatedly, that no criminal charges have been proven, and that no conviction has come from any investigation. From their perspective, turning an unresolved controversy into entertainment before any court has reached a conclusion shapes public opinion in a way that isn't fair and isn't accurate. A compelling documentary can feel like evidence without actually being evidence, and that distinction matters. There's also the question of motive. 50 Cent and T.I. have a long-running rivalry that has nothing to do with these allegations. Critics argue that a documentary produced in that context isn't really about justice or truth. It's a weapon in an ongoing feud dressed up as journalism. If the goal is to expose something real, the argument goes, the motivation behind who's telling the story matters just as much as the story itself. Supporters counter that motive doesn't cancel out facts. If individuals are willing to speak on camera and describe experiences they say are true, the source of the funding or the identity of the producer doesn't make those accounts less real. That debate between narrative power and legal proof, between giving people a platform and shaping perception unfairly, is the real tension underneath everything. And it reflects a broader dynamic that hip-hop has been navigating for years. The entertainment industry has seen multiple situations where accusations circulated publicly for a long time before formal processes caught up, and others where public pressure pushed narratives that courts later found unsubstantiated. There is no clean formula for knowing which category a given controversy falls into until the full picture emerges. What makes this particular situation complicated is that the full picture may never fully emerge. Statutes of limitations have likely closed off certain legal avenues permanently. Witnesses and evidence from events that allegedly happened more than a decade ago are difficult to verify. And the two sides of this story are so far apart in their accounts that there is no version of events that both agree on. A documentary, if it happens, would not resolve that. It would present one version or multiple versions and leave audiences to form their own conclusions. That might generate conversation. It might put pressure on institutions to look more carefully at claims they previously set aside, or it might simply divide people who already have strong opinions into louder versions of the camps they were already in. What the rumor alone has already accomplished is bringing the story back to the surface. Before the speculation about 50 Cent's involvement started spreading, the controversy had largely faded from active discussion. Most people had moved on to other headlines. The debate wasn't resolved, it had just gone quiet because nothing new had surfaced to restart it. Now it's back. Whether that leads anywhere depends on whether the documentary is real, whether it gets made with actual rigor, and whether the people involved in the original allegations choose to participate. Those are all open questions. What isn't an open question is that the conversation around T and Tiny's accusers is now happening again in a very public way. And 50 Cent, whether intentionally or through the rumor alone, is at the center of that. The story still doesn't have an ending. The allegations were serious. The denials were firm. The legal window may have closed. And now, a potential documentary is threatening to reopen everything in a format that reaches millions. Do you think a documentary like this would reveal something that hasn't been addressed, or would it just be adding more noise to a debate that's already been had? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns on the stories that keep coming back in hip-hop, subscribe and stay locked in.